of Central Berkshire Habitat. So what that basically means is, I know a young person just came in. Where did he go? Oh, you gave him one. Great. So one of my jobs is to figure out what other kinds of programming or what kinds of things might our community need moving into the future. And Habitat does a lot with building houses, but we also do a lot with building community. And the other thing that we do, and we have a community navigator with us and our AmeriCorps volunteer recruitment person here as well. But a lot of times what we do is we see where there are problems in the community, and then we try to bring people together to figure out how do we fix them. Has anybody ever heard the story of like the people that are at the bottom of the stream pulling babies out of the water? Yeah, there's this story about a whole bunch of people are at the bottom of the stream and their babies just coming out of the water, and they keep just pulling them. And nobody ever asks, why don't we go to the top and find out how the babies are getting in the stream? Because if we found out how the babies were getting in the stream, we wouldn't have to wait till they were on the bottom, right? We would be able to be proactive. So one of the things that we know right now, there's a critical shortage of people going into the trades. Does anybody know when I say going into the trades, what jobs they might be? Anybody?
HVAC, electrician, carpentry, welding.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like any blacksmiths. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about the blacksmiths, but there is another big one that you guys use every day, I bet. Plumbing.
Oh.
Because as much as people get excited about AI, artificial intelligence cannot fix your toilet. Artificial intelligence can't keep your house from burning down because you have an electrical fire. So these are high demand jobs. And in the Berkshires, we have an aging population, so people are going out of the field and we don't have enough people coming into the field. So I asked Kelly, could I come and get your wisdom, because you guys are the people that we would like to attract to go into the field. So what we're hoping is, I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna ask a question, but I'm gonna look for your guys' thoughts and your guys' answers to the problem. And then if you're interested, there is a working group that is gonna be meeting on July 16th from 1:30 to 3:30. It's on the bottom of the sheets that I gave you there. And if you were interested in joining the working group, they will pay you to have a voice in decision making. So if having your voice heard is important to you, please make sure that you reach out. So before we get started, I wanna kind of just do some rules of the road. The first one is all questions are good questions. All answers are good answers. Respect each other, speak one at a time, and it's okay to pass if you don't have an idea or a thought about it. So, and I did give you a sheet in front of you, and I'm hoping that we'll save about 5 minutes at the end where you guys can put your thoughts on that. So, have many of you heard or seen about jobs for electricians, plumbers, or mechanics anywhere? Anybody seen a billboard?
My brother works in HVAC.
Oh, okay. How long has he been in HVAC?
Not very long. He got his GED in Florida before he moved here, and then he went to Greenfield Community College.
Okay.
And he got his like HVAC technician stuff, and then now he's working as an HVAC.
Now, does he work a lot or a little?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Does he make a big paycheck for the lot of work he does?
Oh yeah. Well, like compared to what he would have made in Florida, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a benefit. Anybody else seen or heard anything letting people even know that these jobs are needed or wanted? Do you think that's something that we should invest some time and energy in, is to getting the word out that these are important? Now, do any of this, like, can you envision in your mind what those jobs look like on a day-to-day basis? And if so, is that a kind of job that you think sort of sounds cool that you and your friends might want to go into? Anybody have any thoughts on that? I see an eye.
Man, I would.
You would? Great. Got one. Anybody else? You?
I guess carpentry.
Carpentry?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anybody else? Anybody ever think about what is it like to be an electrician? They're the second highest paid in any of the technical fields. They get paid more than computer technology people. They get paid more than anybody. So and they're the, plumbers and electricians are the two hardest ones to fill. Yes.
I've always wondered like what it's like to be one of those people who like climb those giant like electrical towers
Yes.
with like the poles on the side.
Yep, that is an electrician, it's
Yeah.
just a different kind of
Yeah.
electrician.
It goes so high up. I'm like, how do you do that?
I know that those are called linemen,
Yeah.
and I actually know somebody who's a lineman, and before he started his job, he thought he was afraid of heights, but they do this training that helps you start thinking about visualizing it differently, and now he loves it. He calls
That's
himself a
interesting.
monkey man, so I think it's kind of cool. Now I know you're all relatively young, and when you think about what would it be like to spend 2 to 3 years learning one job? How do you feel when you hear that it would take 2 to 3 years to learn a job? I heard a sigh. Yes.
I mean, I think it makes you feel more comfortable with the job because then you have like a lot of training.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
It gives you a chance to get to know like your coworkers and your employers better,
Great.
and just the environment.
Perfect.
And then, oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Somebody in the chat
Oh,
said
good.
there, she just let me
Thank
know.
you
I'm
for
like,
letting
oh,
us
yes,
know
the
there's a chat
chat.
response. I
I know,
always
Mike
forget
was
the
supposed
chat.
to take care of this. No, I'm just kidding.
on, Mike.
Blame him. Joy said that she was always interested in becoming an electrician.
Great.
Yeah.
Is that person a female?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just so that you know, there are so few women in the trades that they get, if they're a women-owned business, they get additional tax credits and they get extra points when they're applying for government grants. So if any of you women are handy, great with your hands, think in that kind of way, it's a great opportunity because they're so, we already have a small amount of electricians, we already have a small amount of plumbers, but if you're a woman that wants to do that, the field is wide open. Any other people had some thoughts? I don't want to take any thoughts away from anybody. If you were going to do a job that would take 2 to 3 years to learn, what would make it easier to make that happen? Yes.
Getting like some sort of like compensation while you work, because my main concern would be like, how to support yourself while you're taking these classes.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. Anybody else thinking about that? Nobody? All right. Besides money, what else do you think people need to do well at work? And it doesn't have to be just the trades, just in general. What do you really need to do well at work? Somebody?
Come on time.
What?
Come on time.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
A good team, like a good team or management.
Okay, good team, good management.
I was gonna say communication.
Oh, I like that. My team can tell you I spend a lot of time talking about communication or lack thereof. So, anybody else? Yes.
Some like hands-on work.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. Would it help if the training programs gave it to you for free?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So instead of paying to go to college, what if you had free training that you were also compensated for? Would that be, how many people would raise their hand and say that's a good idea? Let the record show 85% of the people in the room think getting paid and having it be free to learn is a good idea. That's one of the things that's on our list. Right? Now, would you feel better about trying something new if a friend were doing it too?
Mhm.
Yeah, I see a lot of head nods. Anybody not want to work with their friends? No? Good. No, go. I'm teasing. Were you joking? We have one person that really is an independent thinker. I like it. So, and why would that make a difference?
I feel like they'd just be trying to like mess around the whole time.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to break out of the being fun and frenzy and being learning and working. Are you thinking?
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else? Yes.
Familiar faces can make it easier to be comfortable.
Yeah, I like that. Now, how many of you think that using your hands or working on a computer is more, like, would you rather do something with your hands or like work on a computer at a desk? How many people would rather do hands-on kind of stuff? Wow. We've got some major people here right now, like, and he's got 2 hands up, I love it. Very good, very good. And what kind of work do you think you would be really good at? You can think about that for a second.
Probably something like more detailed oriented, where you have to like, press your basic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do a lot of like fiber craft,
Mm-hmm.
mostly like embroidery, and it kind of goes the same. You have to like be really specific about it
Mm-hmm.
when you're like passing the needle and everything.
Well, electricians do a lot of wiring through holes and stuff, so that'd be kind of a cool position. Anybody else think about what they want to do?
A computer technician.
Okay.
Copy.
Are you thinking more like making computers or making computers, like big computer systems?
Big computer systems.
Okay, another great field to be in.
I'm actually really interested in dog training.
Oh, you
Um,
should talk to my friend Erin here. You can always come to Habitat and train, well, her dogs are well trained, but we have dogs at Habitat. So that is really an interesting thing. More and more people are going into that also. What else? What else we got?
I always thought about maybe a maintenance guy because I do a lot of maintenance, like fixing holes and stuff at my apartment.
Facilities management, apartment rental management, all those kind of repair fields are very, very big right now because again, we don't have enough people that know how to do them. And it does take an ability to analyze the situation and then figure out how do I fix it, and then how do I fix it at a reasonable cost, right? So there's a lot that goes into that thinking. Anybody else got anything?
I've been interested in helping kids with like special needs or children that been through like the system and foster care.
That's great. That's great. I'm hoping there's some placements for that, Mike, with the school system for special needs, or maybe at a early childhood education place that has a special needs department. That'd be kind of cool. So, there you go. Anybody else got any? I want to make sure everybody has a chance to talk. All right, great. Now, here's a big question that I hear a lot. What kind of work-life balance would you want?
One that fits around the schedule of me and my daughter, so I can still spend time with my daughter, but work.
Okay, great. That's good. Any others? Anybody else think about work-life balance? My adult children remind me all the time that they're a generation that values work-life balance. So the nice thing about going in the trades, especially once you're in it a while, you do get to have control of your schedule. It doesn't mean that if an emergency comes up that you don't ever have to go, but you do have much more control and a little bit more set hours. Yes.
I feel like it would depend on like the job for me personally. Like if I went into dog training, I'd want to do that every day, all day.
So that's a passion for you.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
love that.
All right, so last question, and we'll start wrapping. Is there any Zoom questions that I'm not seeing?
Yeah, Mike's gonna
Sorry.
share. Sorry,
Alright.
I'm like, it's finally.
Are they-
Plumbing, there's a plumbing and electricity.
Okay,
Electricity gets 2,
great.
okay? I'm looking at something with low stress and a calm environment. High stress jobs often follow me home, make it difficult to stick to the job.
Mhm.
For the, anything else? Oh, for the license one, for plumbing and trades, they would pursue 2 to 3 years trying to see if they could earn a license, and if the training was free.
Good, yeah, that's what we're hoping to see if that's a possibility. Because it's not just in the Berkshires, it's nationwide. So the last question, and then I'll just ask you to spend 5 minutes answering the paper survey. What's one thing you'd want adults to understand about youth and work? Because I think older people have a misconception about what youth want and how they would want to integrate work. Is there one thing that you would want adults to know? Not that you all aren't adults at this age already, but besides the fact that you probably hate when people say what I just said, apologize right there. But what is that one thing that you wish people heard you say?
I guess just in general, taking us more seriously, because I feel like a lot of times because we are younger than older generations, they tend to not take us as seriously when we have ideas or suggestions.
I guess it's that like there's a common stereotype that like younger people, especially like from like older generation perspective, is that like Gen Z are more lazy and don't know how to like manage themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a really common complaint that when like a person who's like from Generation Z, like a younger person, is complaining about like how expensive things are and like being unable to afford housing and stuff like that. A common rhetoric from like older generation is that they're trying hard enough, or that they're not like living below their means or whatever, and that in the older generation also tend to like compare their younger lives to them, even though we're living in a more different, like in a different time, in a different generation,
and definitely more expensive time.
Yes.
Yeah. So any of you that are struggling to make rent or to have your families make rent, I just want to say your struggle is real. What we have seen in the last 5 years is skyrocketing house prices, rental prices. I mean, we have a woman that just went under contract to purchase a Habitat home, and her rent, or to own a mortgage on her home, is going to be like $300 less than what she's paying for rent right now. And that's what Habitat is. We don't give away houses for free. We build people and houses together so that you don't just get to buy a house, but you get to keep that house forever. We build equity into our programs, and we think it's really critical at this stage of the game that there is more affordable home ownership, because that's how most people generated wealth. We have to get that message out that people should be able and have a right to have a home. So I know Kelly wants to move it on to her section. So if we can, I'm happy to answer any questions, but if I could just ask you to spend 5 minutes filling out that questionnaire for me. And again, I just really want to invite folks that would be interested in being a seat at the table to have a youth representation at our June 16th meeting. We would provide transportation, you get a stipend, I'll make homemade brownies. What else do I need? Let me throw out some extra benefits. If anybody's had my homemade brownies, they're pretty spectacular. Yes?
Can I get a new pen?
Yes. Anybody else need a pen?